Hi. So I drove to my daughter's school to get her, and I have few minutes to get on here and just share some realizations. As you guys can probably relate, when you get in the vehicle, the car, you can have a lot of downloads, a lot of integrations and understandings come over you. So we just did at the center a collective monadic cleanup, record clearing, and I wanted to just say a couple things quickly with grace. Let's delete the quickly, just with grace. Can When you realize you find different places and configurations in the matrix, in the monadic configuration of yourself, which is your planetary interactions, your planetary quantum entanglements that are still looping you back in. When you find yourself in disagreement, so the liver was tugging at me that made me actually do the record. When you find yourself still quantum entangled in the lower dimensions with others, and it has to do with your monad, this is a big cue to say, can you allow yourself to see new interactions? So if I could highlight, which I have, and Sevan Bomar, an ascension teacher, helped me highlight tons of distortions in the matrix that are going on in one reality of Earth. So if I can highlight them, I also can upgrade them. And this is my superpower. My superpower is to activate a multidimensional Earth, to occupy reality, to occupy my own inner universe, to realize that if I'm still quantum looped with somebody in a disagreement or where I look at them and I'm like, why are they like that? I have to realize that I have still something inside of me that needs to shift. Somewhere in time, I encoded this reaction. I encoded a person in front of me to be a certain way. Usually because it's a pattern, because I've seen them do it over and over again, or if they're an archetype, or if they're holding some kind of strong figurehead for me, like my father. Then if I haven't cleaned up how I witness my father as a divine sentient soul who's here as an evolved version of himself at a higher plane, looking to embody who he really is beyond the old patterns of his ancestors, if I can realize that and witness in my mind's eye and in my heart door my father's soul and how I want a new pattern to be, then when I see my father, he will show me that new version of himself because I'm allowing it to happen. And as you get beyond your soul consciousness into the monad and the oversoul consciousness, you begin to embody a larger configuration of yourself. And so it's up to you when you witness these disagreements in the government and things like that. Let's talk about the government, right? If you don't like the way the government's doing things, you have the power inside yourself to find anywhere in any timeline where you were a governor, where you had the government position. And you can ask your heart, you can ask your higher self, all sorts of consciousness resides inside of you. You can just say consciousness. Show me a timeline where I did not lead the people in the right direction, right? And you'll witness that and you'll have compassion over yourself, and then you can rewrite it. You can forgive yourself and rewrite it in your mind's eye and your heart door, and you can imagine yourself doing it differently in that timeline. And then on a bigger note, you can govern yourself. You can make sure you're governing your own lifestyle sovereignly, sustainably, and responsibly. So as you start cleaning up any old timelines in the planetary alignment and the planetary quantum entanglements of the monad, as you clean that up in your psyche and you allow yourself to be different in your consciousness, in your this inner truth, everything inside here is projecting out here. So if I change it inside here, then I can allow for others to be differently in my reflection. If I haven't changed when I was the president or the governing force, if I haven't changed that inside myself and I want the outside government to be different, it's not going to. It's going to project what is in my imprints, my matrix, right? So I can clean it up inside myself. I can imagine a new world, and I can allow that to dominate my bigger field, meaning I could spend a lot of time daily visualizing a world in peace, a world that's sustainable, sovereign, and responsible for itself. Each person has soul ethics to know how to take care of themselves and take care of everything around them, and to parent the world as all children are our children, right? Parent my inner child. If I can't parent my inner child and I can't parent all the children that surround me, then I can't govern. So we've got to clean up, and we've got to allow these new imprints to dominate from our projector, from our heart and mind's eye. When they unify, when you embody soul consciousness and beyond, they unify and create a diamond called the diamond heart. It's one mind, one heart. And you can project out into the multiverse, project out into your larger configurations of yourself, and allow for new things to happen. And then what happens is source energy, those souls literally are allowed to be different for you. The president, right? What if Marianne Williamson becomes president? That would mean that enough of us have embodied this bigger consciousness of wholeness and love, responsibility, sovereignty, and we can allow her to step in. We can allow that soul to step in because we've built it out in the mind's eye, in the heart mind. And we've forgiven ourselves, and we've cleaned up our own personal matrices. And as you guys that are light workers and have the ability to sit in meditation, if you can just work on your monad and your oversoul, the oneness that you are, cleaning up anywhere where you have the permission and the ability to clean up the timelines where you were distorted and where you were deluded and confused and running off of old subconscious loops of distortion for power and greed. So all the theys in the world are just us. Some other timeline, I was the bad guy. So I've got to clean that up. And then I've got to allow myself to project out wholeness and allow that to come back to me. Allow that to be my world. And when enough of us are doing this together, whoa, this is an inner revolution. This is where you don't have to pack your bags and go anywhere and put up a picket sign or a protest sign. All you have to do with your brothers and sisters is sit in circle, even from your own homes, right? That's why I'm guided to get on here and do these things, is because it just takes our inner versity, our inner station to turn on and tune up and get back aligned and reoccupy this plane of existence. Reoccupy it how you want it to be. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It can be instantaneous. When enough of us are doing this, which enough of us are, because I'm seeing great change in the world, maybe not in you're not seeing it, but I am. So we are living on a multidimensional earth, meaning my neighbor could have a totally different experience of this earth where I've cleaned up my matrix and I can see, roses and rainbows. So it's up to each one of us. And I humbly bow to each one of you. Even if you are still stuck and you can't hear what I'm saying, I'm going to clean up anywhere right now where I feel that someone who could watch this, meaning you or me, everywhere in another timeline where I couldn't get it, I'm just going to forgive myself, call back my essence, and now I'm going to see all my other selves getting it, all my other selves really doing the inner work and allowing for harmony on the earth. Right there, I just caught myself. It's all it takes. And then I program, this is a biocomputer, I program that I'm going to allow others to get it. The last thing I want to say is I posted to the people who've done Oversoul consciousness work at the center for 2018, the womb room it was called. It's now called the Source Creation Station. I was guided by Spirit at the beginning of 2018 to call forth all masters who are ready to up-level and to birth Oversoul consciousness. So Oversoul consciousness is our connection to the stars, knowing where we came from, knowing that we're star particles, and knowing how to get along with other sentient beings, other beings who are from different configurations, different star systems, etc., different consciousness. You don't even have to, if you don't understand that yet, just different consciousness. How do we get along with each other? How do we up level and grow our energetic field to clean up the matrix, clean up all the wars, all the star wars, clean up all the distortions? So we highlight it. We don't hang on to the stories, right? We highlight it and then we fold it back in so that we again can allow for new interactions with our brothers and sisters. So I was watching Sevan Bomar, and he posted about true riches and how, if you've amassed your consciousness, if you've brought back your essence, and you really have the capability and the power to help this world out, then do your work, which is what we're just talking about here. And number 2, come down off the mountaintop where your oversoul is in the heavens and ground that into your form. Ground it back into the earth. Bring that huge configuration of yourself back down off the mountaintop, out of the cave and back down here. And that's a big being you are now. So if those of you who are literally holding oversoul configurations of consciousness, monad, the one, source, all you big beings out there, which is all of us, those of you who come back into remembrance, his last response or thing he said, and I'm not saying exactly what he said on the video or audio that I posted, is that to get off, come back down off the mountain, and what are you going to do with this power? And he spoke about human trafficking. And, he talked about if you have the right mission in place, like let's say you have a mission and you want to help stop human trafficking, he said that all the resources will come together. People will come find you once you get aligned with the right source-guided mission. So that's my invitation to everybody, is that you don't even have, my biggest realization this morning was that you don't have to even go anywhere. If you want to stop human trafficking, let's do this right now. Number 1, you find out where in the timelines did you misuse your sexuality and dominate children and women and men, right? Where did you misuse your sexual energy? And I only have a few more minutes. I got to get in the car line. But anywhere that your consciousness could highlight that right now, would you forgive yourself from all timelines where you misuse sexual energy? Do it now. Say yes. And all those records, if it's meant that your consciousness wants you to individually look at them, they will get it to you at the right time, right place. But right now I'm asking for assistance from Source, from God, from all consciousness, your higher self-consciousness, to fold in any records so that you are more aware and not blind and asleep, that you too may have misused your energy, that energy, sexual energy of yours or others. Anywhere where you had any kind of distorted consciousness and you're hiding that from yourself, let's forgive it. Because as we forgive ourselves and clean this up within ourselves as big beings, we're going to get to the upgrade in a minute. Let's have all your soul essence come back in. And here's the best part, the upgrade. Let's imagine that we had an aha moment in those other timelines where we woke up and we were like, oh, what am I doing? I don't need to do this. And you stopped in your tracks from doing an inappropriate action with sexual energy. Because a true creation needs to happen within you. You need to stack back that light. That sexual energy needs to come back up your spine. Stack it back up. And the upgrade's most important here. Where people, souls in you right here, you are changing timelines right now by imagining you stopped in your tracks and you said, no, I'm not doing this. Right? There you go. And then let's expand into our biggest sense, our oversoul, our monad, whatever big configuration you can get into right now, source consciousness, the plane of existence. And everywhere there's human trafficking going on right now, let's send balls of light out to all those beings, those souls who are just trapped in a distortion, in a loop. They're so blind to what they're doing, but right now they're receiving a ball of light that's giving them that extra reminder that, wait, I don't have to do this. This child, this being in front of me is me. What am I doing to myself? And let's just visualize people being freed right now. This is our power. Let's free them up. Let's see right action with children, women, and men and sexual energy. Let's see conscious creation going on the planet. Let's have sexual energy be used to co-create wholeness, health, stability. And I'm seeing tons of beings being freed right now. And if you guys can witness this and you can share this together right from our own meditation station, we heal